Welcome to the NQAT Daily. It's the day after Manchester United's victory over Coventry City. We were awesome, obviously. I'm with Isabel today, a new voice on the Daily Pod. Isabel, how's it going?
Yeah, very
Tell
good,
us
thank
about
you.
yourself.
Yeah.
Great. We got in touch on Twitter, and then I noticed you were doing a YouTube channel, which is you with your sort of thoughts on United for the day. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so my dad supports United, so I watch a lot of kind of people speak about United, and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to start my own channel. So started in October, going pretty all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After 15 years of doing this podcast, I'm like, why not? Everyone's got a voice. There are some better than others, but we don't need to get into
Right,
that.
into that.
Yeah. Obviously, I spoke with Dan about the game yesterday, so everyone go find that one. That's a long pod of me and Dan talking for an hour about this game. So I guess we don't need to relitigate that. But we thought we'd talk today about United's chances in the final. And I'm laughing there because I kind of think they're zero. But how are you feeling about that opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, in a way, I'm kind of happy at City, and I feel like I like to be quite optimistic about these matches. Obviously, I know the state that we're in right now, but out of the two, either Chelsea or Manchester City, I'm honestly happy because I feel like we're going to have more of a game plan against City. We're going to counter attack. Whereas obviously we played Chelsea recently and it was just a complete mess. I think I don't want to watch end-to-end football again. And that Chelsea match stressed me out. So I honestly think I don't know if I'm right in saying this, but I feel like we might have more of a chance against City just because we're going to have a bit of a game plan. But I mean, City are just phenomenal. I mean, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, wash your mouth out. You can't praise them, but
No.
yeah. I mean, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll sit deep. We'll have
Yeah.
20% possession, and we'll try and hit them on the break with our speedy forwards who don't seem to be able to score at the moment.
No.
And so, yeah, rather than the sort of basketball we got against Chelsea last time out, where it was total chaos, planned chaos in
Yeah.
United's case, I guess. Yeah, I do worry about the state of confidence going into that game because we've got 6 games left in the Premier League.
Mhm.
The motivation levels, given that they don't mean anything anymore, they can't be high, can they? I wonder we're going to go into that City game like having lost a few in the weeks preceding.
I think as well, just with I mean, it doesn't feel like a win yesterday, does it? So going into this final, I don't think many Manchester United fans are going to be confident. I think a lot of us probably will have already written it off. Obviously, it's nice to be in a final, but it's just we're going to have to see how it goes on the day. We're so inconsistent. We'll probably lose in the Premier League all the 6 games and then we'll win against City. It's just, that's the way it goes. It's weird.
I might take that, although that would probably end up with United being 12th or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric was asked about that after the game yesterday. He was asked, like, what message have you got for United fans who've seen that and aren't very confident that you can do anything? And he reeled off a bunch of statistics of performances against the big clubs, and he brings out the Arsenal game again,
Yeah.
which he always seems to do because we played well for 45 minutes or something.
Yeah.
I sometimes feel listening to him, he's not on the same wavelength as most of the fans.
No, I think not that he's trying to make up excuses, but I think he mentioned something in a press conference. It might have been a couple of weeks ago now. I can't remember. He said something about the fact that the last time he had his full squad was, I think, when we beat City 2-1 last season. It was just kind of like you're making up excuses now. I think everyone's got mixed opinions about Ten Hag, but it's a sticky one, I think, with Ten Hag now. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that sort of that kind of thing he has where he seems to be like everything's fine, there's nothing to
Mm.
see here, move along.
Yeah.
I don't think that only lasts so long before it sort of feels delusional and like late stage. And I feel like a lot of United managers gone through that over the last 10 years where they start to deny anything's a problem, and it seems
Definitely.
to be a sign of pressure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, obviously he's going to be in a job until the cup final and
Yeah.
maybe beyond. We'll see.
Yeah.
They're not going to. I mean, if we'd lost yesterday, Jim might run onto the
Yeah.
pitch and
I
fire him
know.
right there. Yeah.
I know. I think
Uh,
his job's very uncertain at the minute, definitely.
but what kind of performance in the final would be acceptable then? I mean, it feels because the only acceptable thing is winning, isn't it? But what would we
Yes.
accept?
I think we just need to see a bit of fight from the players. I think there was a bit of fight in the first half against Coventry yesterday. Second half, just I didn't see anything. Um, I think there's definitely some players like Harry Maguire, for example, I think fights for it like consistently. Um, Maybe his performances aren't always great, but for me, Harry Maguire is one of the players who does fight for it. And I think we just need to see that more with everyone on the pitch. So I don't, to be honest with you, whatever the result is, as long as we fight for it, that's kind of what I want to see. And if we do this tactic of counter attacking, um, they've just got to fight for it. I want to see a bit of something. We've been so awful this season, so inconsistent. I just want to see a good performance. I'm bored of watching boring football. We need to see a bit of something. So yeah.
Yeah, and not what we had last year's final, where we basically gave up after a minute.
Yeah. I think it was after 10
Mm.
seconds.
Yeah, Dave chucked one in, and then all the players kind of knew at that moment they lost, and there was nothing
Yeah.
left after that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
And then the boring final. So
yeah. I mean, these should be special occasions. It's some of my favourite memories growing up of United in finals,
yeah.
obviously. And we do need to see something because it's probably going to be Ten Hag's last game in charge of United. I imagine, new leadership in the club, it'd be normal to make a change, even if there aren't too many options out there.
Yeah.
And he's got to know that. There's going to be a big turnover in players. It might be a lot of players last games for United. You'd think this would be a motivating factor.
I know. I mean, I was looking at all of the players putting out Instagram posts and they're all very, happy. I know a lot of them probably don't even write their own posts, but probably got people doing that for them. But I just think a lot of the players don't actually realise how awful they've been this season. I think Ten Hag's aware. He knows. I think he knows his job's coming to an end. Honestly, it'll be interesting to see if he does go in the summer because I'm still uncertain, to be honest. I think a lot of people are Ten Hag out now, but I think if you give Ten Hag the players that he wants in the summer, I'd be pushing to say give him till Christmas. But I don't think many people would agree with me. I think a lot of people are Ten Hag out now, and a lot of the players I think as well need to go. But it's finding the balance between, do we get rid of the players or do we get rid of Ten Hag? So it's difficult.
Yeah, cycle that United have been going through for the last 10 and a bit years
Yeah,
now, isn't it?
yeah.
Never quite have the right stock of players, never quite feel like we've got the right manager.
Mm,
I was watching the game yesterday with a friend, and we were both kind of nostalgic for the days of Ollie,
mm,
which tells you something. And it's not like we hate Eric and don't
yeah.
think because many parts of the job he's done have been pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially last season, the turnaround from the mess under Ragnick.
Mm,
But it kind of says something when you're feeling nostalgic for an ex-manager.
mm.
um, for his limitations, you knew what you were going to get with Ollie most of the time.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been a bit of a roller coaster with Ten Hag. I mean, last season, I really liked Ten Hag. I was ready, I thought we'd actually got the manager. I think there's moments from this season look, I know we've had some awful moments this season. We've had some like that win against Liverpool in the FA Cup. I mean, that was great, but it just doesn't. The performances aren't good enough, and I think there's so many questions that need to be asked. I mean, it needs to change. I think, yeah,
What did you make of the United players' celebrations after the game? Because they were they're
yeah,
kind of muted, weren't
yeah.
they? Almost guilty. And then, except for Anthony, who did the whole
I know.
like what a piece of shithousery. I mean, um, I kind of made me laugh because it was so ridiculous. But yeah, what do you make of that?
Yeah, no. To be honest with you, I was a little bit mixed emotions because I think Hoyland obviously, had the right to go and, scream in front of the fans. Of course, that's what you're going to do. I think especially as well because he just missed that big chance before
Yeah.
I think when he got handed the ball and he didn't, just got it mixed up between his feet. So I think Hoyland had the right, but then I do actually I do agree with the players not running to celebrate, because it didn't feel like a win. I know you said that as well. Like it didn't feel like a win. But Anthony covering his ears. I mean, it's like, come on, like you didn't do anything. You came on, you didn't do anything. So I just think it was just hilarious. Yeah. What did you think?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Anthony thing kind of made me laugh because I didn't see it in real time,
No,
him
I
doing it, but I saw it afterwards.
Yep.
And I was just like, what are you on, mate? I mean, he was terrible when he came on as well. He's had a really bad season.
Nice.
He's got one goal in all competitions or whatever
Yeah.
it is, and maybe one decent performance in all of that. And I don't know. Maybe he just didn't know the context. Maybe I like reactions to reactions. I don't want to be celebration police here, so it's fine. And I was perfectly okay with Hoyland giving it all the fist pumping because he scored the winning goal to take United through to a final. He's had a mixed season. His form's dropped off a cliff after that injury. He's a young player, 21. This is his first major final. It feels like, he's allowed to celebrate. And everyone else, I felt they were a bit sheepish because, they chucked away a 3-0 lead against a mid-table championship club and had to take it to penalties. So, they should be embarrassed about that.
Yeah.
What are you seeing? What do you want to see from the United team in the lead up to the final then? Like, do these games matter? How important are they?
It's difficult because I think we can all probably agree top fours. It's written off now. The last thing I think we've got to fight for this season is, look, if we can get 5th, 6th place, great. I'd be surprised if that even happened now. I think we do have to fight for this final. Obviously, last season, it's the same. It's a Manchester Derby final, FA Cup final. I think we've got to redeem ourselves. And I know, again, it's against City, they're the best team in the world right now. But I think as well, like I said earlier, we just need a bit of fight. We need a bit of Rashford's got to be on it. We need to end the season on a bit of a high. After this whole season, awful performances, we just need a bit of something at the end of the season to just lift up everyone's hope a little bit. Like I said, I like to be optimistic, but I'm not feeling too optimistic in the minute because of how bad it's been. So honestly, just a bit of fight. I want to see some injured players, come back from injury as well. It's just been awful this whole season.
Yeah, it looks like, talking of injured players, we've got another 3 injured yesterday. Maguire, Rashford, McTominay was limping in the mix zone apparently after the game. So I mean, it's 2 days until Sheffield United, so we might not see any of them. Not sure we have any fit central defenders at all.
No, I don't know who we're going to put there.
Maybe Big Sir Jim wants a game.
Maybe. Throw him in, why not?
He ran a marathon. I mean, I'm deeply impressed. All right. Well, that's a little bit on the cup final. I mean, I kind of agree with you. I think if the fans feel there's a sense of spirit in that game, whether we win or lose, that's probably enough. I mean, there'll be an awful lot of people spending a very large amount of money to go to that cup final.
Yeah.
That's the least they deserve. And if Eric comes up with a tactical master plan, because I think it's going to have to be something different. Because if it's just the same United, just playing deeper, City are going to score, right? So of course they are. So some kind of something from Eric that changes it up, and some real fight from the players, as you said.
Definitely.
All right, that's the daily. We'll be back tomorrow, and the main pod on Wednesday, and doing with Tom after Sheffield United 3, United 1. No, I'm kidding, but it might be. Thanks, Izzy, for coming on. Good to have you on. Hopefully you're going to be a regularish guest. Tell us about your channel again. Plug the socials.
Talk about United. That's my channel.
And that's what you do as well.
Yeah.
Everyone go check it out, and we'll catch you all tomorrow. Bye now.